Hi guys and girls, Rose Burnett here, Mind Body Soul Balance Coach with your daily inspiration. So going through some questions that you guys and girls have raised in terms of getting answered with the daily inspiration. I am going to do a couple of shout outs for this one. So first up, Mark Abernathy has asked, this is all about spirituality, yeah, talking to your spirit guides, receiving messages from your angels and your spirit guides. He's asked, I'm trying to listen for ringing in my ears. Will I ever get to hear voices? Which we're talking about clairaudience there, yeah? So we're going to go into that question. And we've also got Robin M, who's asked the question, how do we know if it's our true guides and intuition speaking to us or just our ego who wants whatever is in the question? Two very good questions, right? If you haven't already checked it out, I also did previously a daily inspiration on something very similar to this. Is, you know, how do I know if my spirit guides are talking to me? So I will put the video link to that directly on this video, yeah, so you can go and check that out as well. So Mark, let's have a look at your question first. So people, what is clairaudience in the first instance? In terms of divine gifts and talents and the way in which you connect with your spirituality, the angelic realm, the universal divine source consciousness, yeah, which surrounds us at all times, yeah, and it doesn't matter, this is not religious, so it doesn't matter what you believe in terms of your religion. It's about those beings of light and angels watching over us that we connect to. It can be to God, it can be to your archangels, your spirit guides, yeah. In terms of, I also do a lot of energy healing work, so I work very, in terms of a deep level, in terms of soul light, not only origin, but healing in a child, healing connection to the divine, people's spirit guides, I can see them, yeah, often when we go in to do a lot of deeper work, and often see their soul light origin too. And that's just sort of giving you some background information in terms of who are we connecting to when we're trying to connect to our clairaudience, yeah. And it's about whether or not you're open to your spirit guides too. In terms of what I've seen in energy healing work, there is no one on this planet that does not have angels and beings of light watching over you with spirit guides, yeah. It's about whether or not you're open to it. It's about whether or not you're working at your higher levels of consciousness, your higher chakras, yeah, your crown chakra, your third eye chakra, your heart chakra, your throat chakra. And whether you're spending time connecting into your divinity and your spirituality. The more you do that, the more you're going to become more aware of that connection, the more easily you're going to be able to tap into it as well. And I can only share with you my own experiences, and in terms of, there is a video on my channel in terms of my own spiritual awakening, yeah, and how it's kind of evolved over the last probably 4 years more intensely than before. I've always known, even from about the age of 6, that I had this connection to universal source energy, that there was something bigger out there than me, yeah. And it's probably quite a few of you like that too. So let's talk about Mark's question in terms of clairaudience. The ringing in the ears will just start happening, right? It can be all sorts of sensations that can happen in your ears. Often what happens is you've got to raise your vibration within your body. This is your health, your wellness, your level of physicality, how much time you spend in quiet time with self, connecting to not only yourself, your intuition, but your higher states of consciousness and your connection to, you know, universal light source energy, the angelic realm, everything that's out there. I do a lot of it out in nature. I also do guided meditations. There's all sorts of practices you can do. Crystal singing bowl, all those kind of classes. They're amazing in terms of meditation because they go right to cellular level, yeah, in connecting you into your own divinity and the angelic realm. There's all sorts of things you can do. For me, in terms of the ringing in the ears, it just started happening when I was walking along the beach a while back, yeah. Often when I'm doing work like now, in terms of particularly even reading the tarot and the oracle for you from a YouTube channel, my ears will just be ringing, yeah. It could be just through a certain reading. It'll just start going off in one ear and I'll go, hey, you know what, Taurus, if you're going to get signs and signals come through to you this month, it's going to be coming through your right ear, messages from spirit. Is it voices? This is super interesting, Mark. Are you clearly going to hear a voice? It's not an auditory thing, if I say that to you. So it's not about expecting somebody to be talking to you in your ear loudly like a voice. And I can only share my experience with you. It is a combination of intuition and knowing that the message coming through is not coming from self. Yeah, part of it will be because you'll be asking a question, right? You'll be putting the energy out to the universe, to your guides, to God, to whoever you're asking the question of. But part of that question will always come from self. What I've learned, and you do have to, and I think this also goes into Robin's question, is how do you know that the messages coming back are actually from your spirit guides, or are they part of your ego just answering it? Are you just stuck in your head in your mental thought processes? So there's two kind of super important things going on there. If you're expecting to hear voices, it's not voices, it's messages. It's advice, it's guidance, yeah? It all happens within, but mostly it's going to happen in your higher chakras. You'll hear it. You'll hear those messages come through quite succinctly, yeah, quite strongly. It can be synchronicities happening around you, even though it might be a clairaudience you're looking for. It could be synchronicities happening over and over again in the same day, in the same hour. Let me tell you one. For me, a lot of it comes in numbers, which I tend to find reassurance, but also animal spirit guides. And I know we're getting a little bit off track to your messages, but to your questions, but I want to sort of give you an impression that it's more than just one thing where you're going to get signs and signals from your spirit guides, yeah? Yesterday, for example, I had to drive up to the city from where I am, and at the moment, I'll share it with you, right, because I'm going to tackle this in one of the other videos, is that my family's going through some trauma at the moment because we have a seriously ill parent, yeah, seriously ill. And so whilst I can be all bubbly and whatever in front of you, and I've balanced my energy today, yeah, balanced my vibration today, but in those instances when I'm deeply challenged, the universe sends me eagles, eagle after eagle. I got 4 yesterday in that drive, 4 eagles, 3 at once, by the way, 3 when I started that journey. And it was like, oh, Spirit's with me today. I've got 1 on the way back. It's very beautiful. But it can also be numbers, and I can remember talking through one of my tarot readings going, watch out for signs and symbols in terms of numbers. 33 and 44 are super important numbers, and in terms of the angelic realm, yeah. 33 is often a sign of an ascended master's talking to you. It can be you being an ascended master. 44 is the angels talking directly to you. I was wedged between a truck and a car. Both of them had 33 on their number plate one day. I was wedged at the lights going 33 in front, 33 behind. Hello, universe, try and talk to me, yeah. You know, you can be at the cafe and they hand you the thing that's your number for your table, and it'll be a very significant number to the angelic realm. That's signs and synchronicities that in day-to-day life, the angelic realm's watching you, spirit guides are watching, trying to give you a message, particularly if you need reassurance, yeah. So in terms of the clairaudience, how do you trust those messages coming through, and how do you know that they're messages coming through? So I think if you're trying to force something and you're going like, when is my divine gift and talent going to show up? Like, when am I going to get my clairaudience? When am I going to get a higher connection to my spirit guides? If you try and force it, and I've often also coached and mentored, because I do Reiki energy healing, yeah, other people that do those kind of therapies that are trying to force things to happen in terms of astral traveling and all that kind of stuff, yeah. It's something that you allow. It's an allowance, yeah. So what do I mean by that? You've got to just be open to it. Rather than trying to make it happen, you've got to be open to it and allow it to come to you. There's a big difference, yeah, big difference. When you ask a question, what I've learned over time, and you know, there are moments when you'll be in a higher state of vibration. You've got to set the energy for allowing those messages to come to you. I know as part of the Reiki practice that when I first started in terms of energy healing is that we had to practice in the lower levels when we were just going through. I'm advanced, yeah. There's master as well, but it's no different apart from teaching people. Is that you have to practice on yourself 21 days straight in terms of doing Reiki on yourself, yeah, which is a beautiful practice, by the way. But it just allows you to be a lot more open to spirit and spirit guides and messages coming through. Same with guided meditations. It's about providing that environment for that clarity, that quietness, to be still, to allow messages to come through to you. Out in nature, one of the best places, you've got an open channel to spirit, yeah, to allow those messages to come to you. So you do need to be, but you could be driving along and ask questions, yeah, as long as you're not so much worrying in your mind about a problem or something, and you need to come back into center. When you come back into center, into that place of trust, the messages will come through a lot more fluently, yeah, and easily, yeah. The faster they come through directly from spirit. Often I won't even get because you've already got the question in your mind, right? It's already out in the universe. The minute that question's in your mind, it's already out. Energetically, it's gone to the universe already. So I tend to find I don't even get the question asked. And it's not like you ask it straight out loud. You can if you want, but often it's just within, yeah. And they've given me the message before I've even finished the question. I'm like, right, okay, well, that was quick. That is spirit talking directly to you. I must admit, in terms of, so Mark, I hope that answers your questions. People are not going to physically be talking in your ear. You have to, it's about quietening yourself. Part of it is your intuition, because often you'll already, if you're asking questions that you already know, you're probably just looking for validation and confirmation. Absolutely, you can get that through clairaudience and talking with spirit, yeah. And there may be things that you don't understand or don't know. Faster that message comes back to you is directly from spirit. Particularly, dare I say, if there's anything that you lose in the house, that's a good question to ask spirit. You can test it like that, like, hey, I've lost something. Can you show me where it is? If there's deception going on, or you feel that there's something deceptive going on, ask spirit to show you. Because if you can't see it, and I've done this myself, right? I could not see it, could not see where it was, tried my best, couldn't find it. They told me exactly where to look. It was spot on, right? Spot on. That's how you know you're talking directly to spirit. So, Robin, you've asked, so how do we know if it's our true guides or intuition speaking to us, or just our ego? And that's super, super important. I've also done a video, I think it was also about whether your spirit guides are talking to you, which was kicked off by my girlfriend Sue, who discounts everything. Like, she believes it for 5 minutes, and then she totally, her mind discounts everything she's just gone through in terms of a spiritual connection, yeah. And we can do that. We can discount messages coming through to us thinking it's just something in our head. We just made that up, yeah. I think it is a really good question, because we can absolutely let our ego and our mind run away with us, yeah. How do we know which one's working at the time? And there is another question coming up in terms of spiritual connection raised by Kara, which we're going into next, but not in this video yet, which is about maintaining that spiritual connection. And because of all the stuff that's been going on, I'll just share with you, like in the last 2 weeks, what's been going on with my family has been highly stressful for a lot of us, right? And I've just found this disconnect, because what happens when you have something that's stressful in your life, or you're worrying about something, and this is where the ego comes in and the mind comes in, right, is you're so focused on those problems or the emotions of what's happening or the stresses of what's happening, is that you do disconnect from that quietness and stillness and balance and trust within self, yeah, because you've got a lot going on. I found over the last 2 weeks, I just felt a disconnect between myself and my spirituality in terms of my spirit guides. It felt like there's a fog going on, right? I'm like, where are you? Like, you're normally talking to me. Like, I could feel this fog. I mean, the fog is usually self, yeah? It's self that needs to be released and cleared, stuff cleared out. So in terms of answering Robin's question, is to know that your guides are speaking to you directly, your intuition rather than your ego, is often we have to do some work on a daily basis to make sure that we're releasing stuff out of our system, our chakras, stresses, all that kind of stuff, so that we are in that state at certain times. Not going to manage it all the time, right? But when you want to talk to spirit, often you've got to release all your stresses first along the way, which is why I totally recommend going for a walk, right? Go for that first half an hour, whilst you might get some messages back and forth from spirit. You're actually totally in your head. That's when you're in the ego. Yeah, you're worrying about all your stuff that you need to release. Release it first. Release it first. And on the way back, or even when you're sitting at the halfway point, absolutely halfway point, sit and talk to spirit, because that is a beautiful practice, right? Not out loud. You don't have to do it out loud. Just within your head and your emotions, in terms of like within, yeah, within. You don't have to express it out. You already know you're talking to spirit. Yeah, you should know you're talking to spirit. You're going to get your clearest messages at that point, because you've gotten all the other mental stuff out of the way. It's your mind talking, right? You've got to get out of your mind. And whilst we can make inquiries, because we're always connected to our mind, obviously, yeah, but you want to come more into your heart space and your intuition, your crown chakra, your higher states of consciousness, so that you can connect into that stillness, that deep connection to the mind. How do you know if they're talking to you? Be mindful of the environment around you. For me, the sun will come out. It'll be behind the clouds. Being behind the clouds the whole walk. It'll be shining right on me as bright as it possibly can. The wind will pick up. You'll know when that happens. It's about being super conscious of the shifts in nature around you. If you're meditating, dare I say, you'll start getting your ears ringing. Yeah, you're ready for your clairaudience. And how do you know that it's just not your ego talking to you? Yeah, because it's something you want to hear. And I think that's a great question. Great question. You can get an answer back and go, really? Still? Like for me, I'll ask about something and they'll just go, trust. And I'll go, still trust? Are you sure still trust? Yeah. Or it's keep working on something. I'm going, oh, really? Keep working on something? Really? Am I just saying that, or are you saying that? And they give it straight back at me. And I'm like, okay, well, that's from you then. And then you also watch for those, in terms of changes in, environment that goes on around you. For me, suddenly an eagle will appear above my head and I'll go, well, hello. Okay, you are definitely talking to me. And I think if you're asking a question you already know the answer to, you're just asking for confirmation, right? You do have to also balance it with common sense and your intuition. Your intuition is your own internal guidance system that leads your life. Ideally, if you listen to it, you can ignore it a lot and go completely opposite to what your intuition's telling you. The end story of that is you'll go, geez, I wish I trusted my intuition on that, told me to avoid that situation or not get in a relationship with that person right at the beginning. But I ignored it, or take that job that seemed great, but I knew there was something wrong with it. Just ignored your intuition. Super important. Yeah. But I think, in terms of the ego, I think the question more around the ego is the stillness of mind. Yeah, you just got to remember the stillness of mind. When you get into that zone, then spirit will talk to you directly. All right. If you've got any other questions you want answered in the daily inspiration, pop them down below. Love to hear your own feedback and comments on this. And I will just mention that in terms of my channel, obviously, if you also follow my tarot readings every month, there's a new join button now. So there's a join and a subscribe button. So if you enjoyed this reading and you're not subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button so you get all the free content, If you like this and you want more bonus content, particularly you get 2 bonus tarot readings every month from me. One on your soulmate energy and the other one's life path, life purpose, and all your general energies, a lot more in depth, Those two come out. You get those every month. They are general, right? But only members will get them. Hit the join button. It's just a very low monthly fee. You'll get those through, I'm also going to be doing lots of live Q&A sessions that, unless you remember, you're not going to get access to them, And the Q&A sessions are not asking for tarot predictions because you need a personal reading for that, But, I will be doing those in the future. So I will pop a video up here that explains all of it. If you're interested in that in terms of joining the channel membership, just watch that. And you can see if it's for you. And for now, much love, much light. Namaste.